Jake, we are planning on having a little meeting today to talk about what we were going to make a Cyberpunk video on this week. And, well, you know what? Sometimes some news just falls right into your lap. Cyberpunk has been delayed once again for the third time. You have the official dates. Originally it was in April?
Yeah. So originally it was supposed to launch April 16th, my birthday. That was a big bummer when that got pushed. Then it was September 17th, then it was November 19th, and now it is December 10th.
Yes.
So it's not a big delay. It's about 3 weeks, 21 days. I think we can make it, but there are some bigger implications to this that we kind of wanted to get into, kind of have a little discussion about, because I know a lot of people are bummed, but I think they have a good reason to delay it.
Yeah, looking at their Twitter announcement, the big reason they talked about in the delay is trying to get it ready for all these new consoles. I think something they probably weren't anticipating with, how many times they've delayed it is that they are now launching on next-gen consoles, essentially. So they have to make sure that the versions of Cyberpunk are going to be compatible with the Xbox Series X and S and the PS5. I mean, those systems have backwards compatibility. And even though, in theory, it would just work, there's always little, potential tweaks and incompatibility stuff that they need to figure out. And I imagine that they just realize, a lot of people are going to be playing these games on their PS5. We need to make sure these versions are going to be, fully functioning versions of the game. Now, that doesn't mean that the next-gen updates for the games are going to be available day one. They haven't said anything about that. I imagine that is still probably not coming until next year.
Totally. And I think you really hit the nail on the head with the fact that a lot of people, maybe not a vast majority of people, but many people are picking up an Xbox Series X, a PS5, in order to play Cyberpunk on it, right? Even though, sure, you can play on PS4, you can play on Xbox One X, I think a lot of people are kind of thinking of this game as the first next-gen game in some ways. And I think it makes sense as to why they'd want to make sure that this game is running smooth on everything. And two, right, you have to consider that there are two Xbox consoles launching this time instead of one. And there is one PlayStation 4, or PlayStation 5, but there are two versions of that. So I think it makes sense. Am I disappointed? Yeah, a little bit. I was really looking forward to playing it. Jean-Luc and I have been doing a ton of videos covering Cyberpunk, and both of us are very excited for it. But honestly, if they're not ready and they want to push it back a couple weeks, if they think that's enough time to get it where it needs to be for these next-gen consoles, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I mean, think about, I think the way I would think about it is, this thing is coming out, right before winter break. That is, the perfect time to really just dive deep into Cyberpunk, I can't deny that I'm a little excited that it got delayed just because it was going to come out during the middle of console launch season, and because of our jobs, the idea that I can devote more time to Cyberpunk is appealing to me personally. So while it is sad, there's that silver lining that I think about that way. But that does bring up the other idea that how is this going to affect Game of the Year?
Yes, so that was the next thing I was going to mention, that Jeff Keighley tweeted that Cyberpunk will not be in the 2020 Video Game Awards show, which is kind of to be expected. They did the same thing with Super Smash Bros. A couple of years ago because that also launched in December. So it looks like we'll have to wait until 2021 to see how Cyberpunk fares in Jeff Keighley's Video Game Awards. However, whether or not it will show up in other Game of the Year awards, like ours, for example, is kind of, we're not entirely sure yet. I'm sure you'll hear more as we know more. But the big Game Awards show is putting Cyberpunk on hold.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine how many games are so excited about that. We have a chance now to be Game of the Year, or just to have a free launch window. I'm a big Destiny 2 player, and that game's new expansion was coming right dab in the middle of Cyberpunk's launch, and I was like, oh, poor Destiny, this game's gonna get buried. But now I actually have time to play it. So I'm just trying to think on the positive side of it, Jake,
Totally, me too.
That's all I can do right now. Well, even though Cyberpunk has been delayed, that doesn't mean we are going to stop making Cyberpunk videos here on GameSpot. We will be doing weekly Cyberpunk updates, so make sure to come back for that. We also have our lore videos that me and Jake have been doing, so you can expect even more of those. I still have that furries video that people have been asking for, so you can expect that at some point soon. And yeah, as further Cyberpunk developments happen, you can expect all of that right here on GameSpot.